Hey guys, this is Dinosaur Drawer, and today I'm gonna show you guys how to draw the Elasmosaurus. If you don't know what the Elasmosaurus is or was, the Elasmosaurus was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, plesiosaur that they ever found. It's just a plesiosaur, but it's from the plesiosaur family, just like the Diplodocus and the Apatosaurus. They are both from the Diplodocus family. But so yeah, this video was requested by Spinal Boy Mosasaurus, and yeah, I decided to try to go with a similar design as what I sketched right here. That's what you're seeing right now. And I'm gonna try to make this video just one part, because this, well, it's not a dinosaur. This marine lizard is actually not, well, you can make it detailed by getting scales all over it, but I'm gonna try not to get too much detail into it. So this video will be, I'll try to make this video one part, and maybe it will be a video of 2 parts. So yeah, alright, so this is just like when you're drawing a dinosaur with a long neck, you have to pay attention to how long his neck is and where his body is, and the whole well, you need to make sure that everything fits on your paper. So we're just gonna see that, well, his neck is about this long actually. That means that his body will be over here, and then his tail will be over here. So let's start with drawing it in. We're gonna try to make this a very slender kind of body. I'm just roughly going to sketch this out. So this is going to be his body. Just make this oval shape kind of thing right here. Alright. And then his tail is about this long, and just make it a pointy tail at first. Just make something like this. Just like when you're about to draw a dinosaur. And then we're going to try to make something like, well, not a fin, but yeah, you can look at it as a fin, but it's not. I don't think it's really a fin. Alright, and then his neck, we're gonna make his neck go down a bit like this, and then it goes up a little over here, and over here will be his head. So we're gonna draw his head by just making a circle right there, and then doing something like this. So that's what we are going to make his head look like. And I tend to make the heads a little bit larger, so the scary teeth and stuff gets more exaggerated, because this animal had really scary teeth, to be fair. Then you want to make his neck go like this. Connect to the rest of his body, and then make this part a little bit more like this, a little bit bigger. Alright, and for his tail, we're gonna try to not make this a pointy tail, but just get something like a fin on the end. Something like this. And that's a truck. Alright, and now it's time for his actual limbs. And his limbs start from here. They go like this. Well, the first one goes like this at least. I'm not sure if it's focusing right. That won't really focus. Well, let's do it like this. Alright, that's better. Alright, so this one starts over here. And we're gonna make this one really large. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be this large, but I'm not really afraid of not making this Elasmosaurus too accurate, because there are a lot of different artworks out there that all use different kind of looks on the Elasmosaurus. So actually I would like that one to be a little bit larger, so I'm gonna erase that if I can find my eraser. Alright, so again I'm gonna erase this one, just this part of it, and then I want this one to be very large, actually, like this. And then the one over here will also be very large. This gives it, I believe that this gives it a little bit of a better look. It looks a little bit more aggressive this way. And then this one starts over here. Also a very large one. And again, I'm not sure if they were supposed to be this large, his fins, but this is the way that we're doing it. Alright, so something like this should look about fine. And now we want to get a little bit more detail into his face and stuff. So wait a second. Alright, I'm not really happy with how this looks right now. So I'm gonna erase it just for a little bit, because I want it to have the head more like that of a snake. So actually his head should go like this, and then it should go something like this. So it's a little bit more elongated this way, which is a little bit more accurate. And then this part is where it's going to get hard, because we want to have all those little teeth in, and they go kind of like this. It's almost like they point a little bit more toward the front of his face. goes something like this. I'm sorry for the silence right there, but I had to concentrate a little bit on how I wanted that to turn out. And this should be a little bit more like this, because over here should be the place where his eye is supposed to be. So over here will be the place where we want to place his eye. And then this part goes like this. Alright, and now we want to make those teeth, well, attach it to his actual face. And it kind of resembles the Indominus Rex a little bit, if I have to be really honest. Alright, and that's going to be the only really hard part actually about this drawing. So his eye is kind of located right here, so we're first going to make something like this and then put his eye in there. And now we want to have a little bit of shadow above his eye. Right there, to kind of make an eye ridge. And then his nose is right at the end of this kind of ridge, just like that. So this is actually the reason why I wanted to make his head a little bit larger than it would normally be if I wanted to make it completely accurate, because this looks a little bit better in my opinion. Alright, so I'm gonna darken every line that I need and I'll be back. Okay guys, I'm back. I darkened every line that I needed and erased every line that I didn't need. And yeah, if you like the drawing like how it is right now, you can just keep it as what it looks like right now. But if you want to get a little bit more detail into it, you can for example get the eye in, but you can also leave it blank because it still looks really good. Something like that, for example, and you could get a little bit more detail around the face, because for example the teeth, you could darken the teeth a little bit, which makes them stand out a little bit more. Something like that, and just put a little bit more detail in his face in general. Probably a little bit, a couple of lines over here and stuff. His ear should be somewhere around here as well. You could put that one in. A couple of dots on his snout. A few scales everywhere, maybe even a little bit of muscle there. A couple of lines going like this. But again, there's not really a lot of detail you can put in into an animal like this, because there aren't a lot of well, how to explain it. It's supposed to have a lot of fat so that it can dive deeper, and it will kind of protect itself from the water pressure and stuff. So you can't really put in too much curves and stuff. Maybe his neck muscles would have been pretty strong, so you could draw those in by just doing this. But again, don't overdo it, because you can't really put that much shadow everywhere. Well, I mean, you could, but it's also something new for me, because I'm not used to drawing these kind of animals actually. So I'm just really quickly putting in a little bit of lines and making sure there are some highlights on there everywhere. And there's supposed to be a little bit of shadow here. But again, you really can't go too dark on this. Maybe there would have been a lot of muscles everywhere over here, but it's hard to tell. It's hard to actually be able to draw all that. You could put a little bit of shadow over here everywhere, because his hands would have to make an impression. I mean, it's not like hands, it's just like the bones underneath his fins. You might have been able to, well, actually you wouldn't be able to see those, because again, there was a lot of muscle and fat going over it, so that it would be protected for the deeper parts of the ocean and the water pressure. Now it kind of looks like a wing, which I didn't intended it to look like, but it still does. It's okay. Just put a couple of lines everywhere. And underneath this you could make a little bit more shadow. Maybe also over here. Maybe even the shadow indication for his whole flipper. And the reason that I did his tail like this is so that I could put a little bit of shadow on the indication of his real tail underneath it. Maybe something like this. And there might have been a lot of muscles in his tail as well, so let's draw those in as well. Alright. Just a couple more lines. Well, actually those lines look really dumb, so I'm not gonna put those lines in there. But these lines are supposed to be there. And then just a little bit of shadow on this side. And this one is supposed to be a little dark as well, because it's farther away and stuff. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dog on the background. Alright. And yeah, I think we're about done. And for the sake of this video not being so long, I can't really, I don't want to get into further detail, because otherwise I'll have to make 2 parts for this video, and I'm not going to do that. So wait a second, just erase those lines that you created when you started sketching. And make this a little bit cleaner as well. Just clean your drawing up a little bit. Alright. Okay, so what I actually did was I made the head a little bit darker, and the details on the head are a little bit greater, so that the head actually stands out more than the rest of his body. Because again, because I didn't want this video to be so long, I just had to I had to take certain points that I wanted to have more detail, so it stands out a little. And yeah, that's just I think this drawing turned out pretty okay. It's not one of my bests, of course, but it turned out pretty okay. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think about this video. If you liked the video, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe. So this was Dinosaur Drawer, and goodbye.